To the explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because honestly, we're tackling something that feels like pure magic to most people, but is actually a highly precise science. You know that feeling, right? When you're watching a piece of short form content and suddenly you realize you've just been sitting there totally mesmerized watching it loop for the third time at 2 a.m. when you definitely should be sleeping? Well, you've experienced exactly what we're breaking down today. Virality is engineered. It's not an accident. Today, we're totally decoding the ultimate 60-second high-retention script template. All right, let's just dive right into this. So be honest. Think going viral is random? Most people actually do. They kind of assume it's just a roll of the dice, some lucky algorithmic push, or just, I don't know, being in the right place at the right time. But that common belief, it's entirely wrong. In fact, relying on luck is pretty much the fastest way to guarantee your content stays completely invisible. What we're about to uncover in this explainer is a strict psychological blueprint that takes chance out of the equation entirely. Here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the myth of random virality. Number 2, hooking the viewer instantly. Number 3, delivering value and a twist. Number 4, the seamless call to action. And finally, number 5, the ultimate retention killers. We are chronologically dissecting a highly adaptable, 60-second, high-retention script template that you can apply to almost any niche. Section 1. The myth of random virality. It is psychology, not luck. Okay, so to craft content that actually has a real chance of exploding online, we've got to completely shift our mindset from just making art to structuring psychological payoffs. You definitely already know the creators who do this perfectly. Guys like Mr. Beast, Ali Abdaal, Magnets Media. These top creators don't maintain massive loyal audiences by just crossing their fingers and hoping a piece of content pops off. No way. They utilize an exact, structured payoff system. They intrinsically understand that to keep someone watching, you absolutely have to play into basic human psychology. And the real secret weapon behind this psychology? It's a concept called loops. The source material defines loops as psychological techniques used throughout a piece of content to continuously keep the viewer hooked and engaged. See, retention isn't a passive activity. You literally cannot just hook someone once at the beginning and expect them to stay for a whole minute. You need a constant, active psychological pull. The human brain naturally craves closure, so it feels kind of like a magic trick because when you open a loop of curiosity, deliver just a tiny bit of the answer, and then immediately open a new loop before closing that first one, the brain is physically compelled to keep paying attention just to resolve the mystery. Section 2, hooking the viewer instantly. The critical first seconds. Now we're going to break down the actual anatomy of a 60-second timeline, starting right at 0. Notice just how highly structured this anatomy is. From 0 to 5 seconds, you have the hook. 5 to 15 is the stakes. 15 to 35 is the value. 35 to 50 is the twist. And the final 10 seconds, 50 to 60, is the CTA, or call to action. I promise you, this pacing is extremely deliberate. 5. In our modern age of endless scrolling, the viewer's thumb is constantly hovering, just looking for any excuse to leave and find that next quick dopamine hit. As a creator, you have exactly 5 seconds to retain a viewer's attention right out of the gate. If you lose them here, the rest of your brilliant 55 seconds literally does not matter, because no one will even be around to see it. So how do you actually conquer those crucial 5 seconds? With a negative hook. A negative hook triggers curiosity instantly by highlighting a common mistake or challenging a strongly held belief. It turns out, human beings are literally hardwired to pay attention to threats and mistakes. It's a really deep evolutionary trait. When you look at someone and tell them they're doing something wrong or that a core belief they hold is false, they physically cannot scroll past. They just have to stop and see if they're in danger of making that exact mistake. Here is the exact fill-in-the-blank template for a totally flawless negative hook. Read this with me. Most people think that to insert dream goal, you need to insert common belief. But this one mistake is actually ruining your chances. Think about how insanely powerful that is. For example, you could say, most people think you need to do 100 crunches a day to get visible abs, but this one common workout mistake is actually guaranteeing you stay bloated. I mean, you are absolutely going to stick around to find out what that mistake is so you don't ruin your own progress, right? Now, how does the audio actually pair with the visuals during these opening moments? From 0 to 5, while you're stating that common mistake we just talked about, your visuals need to be fast cuts. Think a dramatic gesture, super energetic movement, or a big, bold, wrong X graphic. Then, shifting from 5 to 15 seconds, you introduce the stakes. This is where you might say something like, "In fact, I wasted 3 years or $500 doing it the old way until I discovered this weird shortcut." Visually, you pair that audio with a split screen or a really quick montage showing you frustrated versus successful. The visual energy has to perfectly match the psychological stakes you're laying out in the audio. Section 3. Delivering value and a twist. Keeping the loops alive. Entering that 15 to 50-second mark, this is where the actual meat of your content is delivered, and it's where those loops are kept alive. Here's exactly how you structure that middle chunk. Step 1, the value portion needs to be simple but very counterintuitive. You literally tell the viewer, stop doing the wrong thing and start doing the secret action. You just give them the direct answer. But right when they think they have all the information and might be tempted to click away, you introduce step 2, the twist. You say something like, but here's the catch. Most people fail at this part because they forget about insert crucial tip. If you do this instead, your results actually double. Boom, you've just rehooked them right when their attention was about to dip. To support this phase, your visuals really have to shift aggressively. During the value phase, you want to show explicit data or proof. Zoom right in on a phone screen or a drawing on a whiteboard. Give them tangible, real proof of that secret action. But during the twist, you literally need to physically jolt the viewer. Notice the visual tactics you use here. A dramatic sound cue like a loud whoosh or a camera shutter, coupled with a slight change in your camera angle or background. And this isn't just for style, guys. These specific B-roll choices and sudden sound effects act as a physical loop to completely reset the viewer's attention span. It is the visual equivalent of snapping your fingers right in front of someone's face to snap them out of a daydream. Section 4. The seamless call to action, the 50 to 1 minute mark. Okay, so you've held their attention, you provided massive value, and you gave them a twist. Now, in the final 10 seconds, the 50 to 60-second mark, your ultimate goal is to drive the audience to another piece of content. Here is the precise script template you want to use. If you want to master this, I put the exact blueprint in my next video. Click here to watch it right now. Notice how totally logical this is. You've just taught them a counterintuitive secret and a twist to double their results. The natural next step for them is to want to master it completely. So you promise that further mastery and seamlessly lead them to click. Now, there is a massive contrast here between a seamless CTA and what we call a fatal flaw. The seamless action is highly physical. You literally point toward the screen where the next link will visually pop up. The catastrophic mistake, the fatal flaw, actually saying the words, "Thanks for watching." Listen, the absolute second you say "thanks for watching" or "that's all for today," you are heavily signaling to the viewer's brain that the value exchange is over. They will immediately click away before your final link even registers on the screen. Section 5. The ultimate retention killers, what top YouTube data shows. So we've talked all about how to build the perfect script, but we also really need to analyze the biggest errors that destroy performance before it even begins. 10 seconds. If 5 seconds is your tiny window to hook them, the first 10 seconds overall are the ultimate danger zone. This is where viewer retention is at its absolute most sensitive and, frankly, most easily killed. The data here is just incredibly clear. Never say "like and subscribe" or "welcome back to my channel" in the first 10 seconds. Top YouTube growth data conclusively proves that these specific phrases cause instant clickaways. And I mean, think about it from the viewer's perspective for a second. You haven't provided them any value yet, you haven't entertained them yet, but you are already asking them for a favor? Or wasting their time with a super slow introduction? This is exactly why leading directly with a problem, that negative hook we broke down earlier, is absolutely mandatory. Which brings us to our final pivotal question. What is your video actually about, and who is your target audience? Look, this explainer gives you the structural blueprint, the psychological loops, the exact pacing, the hooks, the twist, but this template only becomes a viral force when you inject your own specific expertise into it. Take this adaptable 60-second blueprint, fill in those blanks with your niche's biggest mistake and your weird shortcut, and make it completely your own. You now have the exact psychological matrix that the biggest creators use to completely monopolize human attention. So the only question left is, are you going to use this blueprint to start building your own empire? Or are you just going to keep scrolling?